Cool. Thank you for that, SSP. I need to get like a giant flashing light that says like the when I'm muted. Most of the time, I also mute myself through the button. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm most of the time muted. Hey SSP, thank you for telling me that. So yeah, thank you for telling me, because sometimes I just go on and on for hours when I'm muted. Okay, so what I was saying is that on Tuesday we ended up working on adding the subscribers goal to our header to be able to support the channel. So if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. So as part of the work today, what we're going to be doing is that we have a chatbot, right? We have our chatbot, and then we have our overlay server. The goal of today's stream will be to be able to start. So right now I have to start separate, but it would be cool if we could run both of them at the same time, right? It would be cool if our chatbot could start answering into commands via the overlay server. So we could only start it once. Instead of having two clients, two servers listening to for the same kind of events, we have our overlay server, which also manages the bot and the runtime for the bot too. So the thing we're going to be doing today is we're going to be adding we're going to be refactoring the command, some of the commands that we already have in our chatbot. So right now the way it looks is something like this. So we want to be able to start merging some of those things together. So this is how it looks. It looks kind of simple, but there is a lot of hardcore stuff. So we want to start adding things as we go. It would be cool to manage commands via our configuration file, right? So instead of having to add a bunch of commands that we that are just like very simple, like straightforward, like this one here, we are able to just have one that just like, if it doesn't have any validations, we just use that. So that's kind of what we're going to be working on. It's just mostly like making this commands way better for us, and be able to add more and more commands to it. But yeah, that's kind of what we're going to be working on today. It might end up being a short stream, so because we also doing the gaming stream today too. So the gaming stream is like around 7 or 8. So we're gonna be I'm gonna take a bit of a break, and then I'm gonna come back for the gaming stream. But let's see if we could get most of these commands done, right? So I'm trying to figure out where we should keep these commands, because right now I have them over in our chat package, in our module for the chat server, but it kind of doesn't belong there. Maybe I could just move it out and have it somewhere else. So let's maybe do that. So I'm just gonna do it here. So I'm gonna do not sure how the directory structures go. Let's just look at the Go packages. Yeah, so we want to make sure that we have it's kind of interesting because I don't think they have packages with multiple names. Okay, so we are just gonna make two packages. So chat, and then in here we are gonna do commands. And then we are going to take some of the commands that we have, like some of the structures that we already have here, and we're going to create a new one. Yep, let's just go commands. Okay, and then we are going to go back to our structure of it. Okay. I see. So the things that I like about this structure that we ended up with is how simple it is to add new commands. The thing that I need to figure out is how to add, like how to append more commands as we go. So right now the way it works is that we have this file is going to get huge as we add more commands. So it'd be cool if we could have a way for us to, instead of using the init function, as we're using it right now. I wonder if it's a way for us to start using it in a different way. So you have a map. So right now we have a map that has all the commands. But it would be cool if we could have a way for us to start using something like this, but more how the databases work in Go. That might be an overkill. Let's just see if we can format it a bit better. So there is like this, it's kind of like a bad idea to use init, I think, from what I have read before. So my fear is that we are going to end up messing up some of the stuff that happens. So maybe instead of, so this is what I was thinking of init, right? But there's like some side effects. Can't remember what the side effects are. Yeah, so like global variables are also discouraged. Okay, maybe the best way to do it is just change, instead of using something like init, just change how. Okay, so let's try that. Let's change this a bit more. So I'm gonna create a command. I'm gonna change this to command. I'm gonna rename it. Okay, commands, and then it's gonna be the same type. So we have a command type. So we are just gonna recreate that file because I still like the structure a lot. So we have description, which is what the command does. I think permissions is the one missing here. That's very correct. So permissions will be more of like how do we handle who has access to it, the command. So who could run the commands? And it will be based, right now I'm hardcoding the username to myself for the shout out one, but it could be role based. So it could be, I want to be able to make it role based. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that. Which we kind of have allow here. But doesn't really do much. And then action, which is just a function that runs. So whatever the action it's gonna be, it just runs that one. So and then we're gonna create a command type. I think I want to make this one a bit more stronger. Right now we're just passing a. Well, sorry, I don't think I want to take a sender here. For now, I'm just gonna take a string because I'm not sure what I'm gonna be passing. And then I want to make it more strict. So message. So I'm gonna create a message structure that is gonna have okay, so this one's gonna have any arguments. which is just a string. So for this one here, we are getting a set of arguments that we need to be able to run the command, right? So that's kind of what we're doing there. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, and we are going to do user, which is a user that just made the request. I'm going to just make this into a user. And what I want from here, so the user itself, the user type, the user struct is going to have the user name, and it's going to have also the user. So right now when a user joins the chat, we have so we have if they're a moderator, if they're a subscriber. In some cases we also have if they're a VIP, so somewhere in here. Yeah, so if they have the VIP badge, but there is something else in here that says it. Okay, so it doesn't say that they're we could just get it from their badge. So we could just assume if they have that badge, they are a maybe it's not permissions, it's roles. It's gonna be string. And here we are changing this. We're gonna leave permissions. Roles. Okay, and we're gonna take a user. Oh, sorry, not a user, a message. So okay, so we now have our main structures that are gonna handle most of the work that we're gonna be doing. And then we're gonna have a we're gonna have a function is the parser, so parse message, and here pretty much any message we are gonna just take the message. It's better if I go here and see what we're doing inside of main, because it's gonna be inside of main. So okay, so we should be getting this is the message that we should be passing to it. So we are doing a okay. So we are gonna get a message from see that message. And we're gonna just return an error if we get an error. Okay. Then we are gonna create a global variable here. It's gonna have all the commands. So we're gonna kind of be do the same thing that we were doing. So we're gonna do commands. This is I could just make a structure. Okay, so this is Kind of feels weird, but I'm just gonna go with it for now and see how far I could go. We might have to come back here and refactor something. I'm gonna do available commands. Available commands. Okay, and we're gonna return nil for now. And we're gonna have a new function. So this function is gonna take, yeah, it's gonna take our Irc client. So instead of listening in here, we could just listen inside of our function, right? So we could just take the client itself. So right now we're creating a new client. So we just have to go here and check what is that client, what is that new function returning. Okay, so it returns a client. So we're gonna take in client argument, which is an Irc client. So we have the client information now. It doesn't return an error because the client has been initialized already for us. And then we ourselves are going to call this. Then our type is going to have a function here, which is going to be the one that runs like, what did we'll call it star. Okay, so we are going to return a see. Okay. And this is what we're going to return. So we're going to return commands. It doesn't have to be a pointer in this case. Right. Let's just make it a pointer. Okay. And here we could start adding things to our commands. So we could do, just for as an example, shoot. Let's just re-implement our help one now. So help one is okay. So we have the print help command. We take here. Just get rid of. We're gonna create a new file. So we are gonna create a function that is gonna use our available commands because we need to be able to access that to be able to get all the commands that we have. Didn't take any argument. And what it returns is an instance of command. So we're gonna do return the description and then our action. So But the issue that happens is like, it's gonna be weird. So I'm gonna just not use. I'm gonna copy this and not use this because it's gonna be so weird. So I think I'm just gonna make a new package. So okay. So set of commands. I'm just gonna create a package for each command. So help, and then help. It's naming help. It's just shouldn't be. Yeah, it's not naming help. It's just commands. Or so help. Go, and then here package help. Okay, so there's an issue though. If I do it this way, this is I need access to the map, so if I do it this way, there will be a circular dependency. The help one is gonna be hard just because it depends on it everything that the main package has. So for now, I'm just gonna add it here. Easier, yeah. So it's gonna return a struct. So and we just gonna cool. So here we are just gonna return ourselves a command. And description and roads. We need that one. There's no this one, anyone can run it. This one. Yeah, we're gonna take. Can't figure this one out. What we take is the IRC client. So we're gonna be taking a client here, and the client will have most of the information that we need. And then inside of message, we're just gonna take the whole message. Oh, this doesn't. Let's keep it like this for now, and we might have to figure out some of these things later on. Here we are gonna do a new function, x client. Oh, this is up. Yeah, this wouldn't work. We're gonna have to make changes. Okay, this looks better. So the reason why I had to change it was because I was creating a type alias for our map, but we cannot add any other fields to it. So we are just gonna have to just rename this to available. Then we're gonna take a message. Okay. Cool. And this is supposed to be located. Here. So make sure that the naming makes sense. And we just rename this one too. Here we just have to change this back to a map. So we just need to have this map in here. And yep, so name changes here. Works. Alright. So the thing I'm debating is that we could just use, see that. We could just use, I want this one. So we could just use the RC message type, which already has most of the information that we need. And then we can just reuse that. In our case, we don't really need a message. There's nothing there. We don't need the information there. So I'm going to use on the underscore. Oh, I see the issue. And this one, 2. This one to just be message. Cool. Okay. This one's supposed to be commands. Okay, so I think that's better. So if you parse our client, so our chat client to our new here, we could start building the different commands. So that this is commands. What other ones do we have? So we have commands, have this core. So I want to auto generate these ones. So I wonder, so like if we put them in our configuration file, so if we have some commands here, so I want to do something like this. So we have 2h, and then here I want to do commands, and inside of here I want to do this core, and then whatever the message is going to be. So since it's hard-coded, since we have this core hard-coded, for command, so yeah, so we have, so the message is just here. So what if we just put that information here, right? Okay, so what if we could just do something like this, where you could declare commands in here, and then you could pass as many commands as you want. So I was thinking of that. So this one, let's just implement that, something like that. So we want to use the configuration file to start building. So we have to pass the config package as an argument as well. And we want to add our new configuration. So which we are going to do. I had it. Oh. So maybe this one here. So a struct will look a bit different. Okay. So then it just leaves, it goes back to this package here. It goes back here, which has all the configuration. But this package doesn't handle any commands. Okay, so I don't think we could do that. I'm just gonna keep it outside then. And working on is see the message that we're posting into the chat right now. So we might want it, we want our bot to be able to do that too, just to make sure that it just works there. Okay, so we have kind of an idea of how we want the commands to be auto generated. So just gonna create a config file here. Okay, and we are gonna something. And it's gonna be a map. Strings. Value's gonna be string. Okay, so that's kind of matches this here. Okay, and here we are only gonna have to pass just a config type. Above here. Okay, and then here we want our commands not to have exclamation point when we save them internally. So here we are just gonna loop through our big commands. Okay, so we're gonna loop through our commands. And we are going to add develop available commands, the key, and then value. Okay, and here's how it turns a bit weird because we need to create the command itself is just we want our help message to be displayed too. So we need at least this part here. So it might be just and here we are going to just do JSON to whenever you use the same structure. Okay. So value as value that action. So we only have to create the action itself, and the action itself is just going to be straightforward. So it's going to be something like value, and here we are going to do action itself. We don't need, so we don't need the message itself. We just need the client. So we're gonna do client. This wouldn't work either. Because we need to have a value too. So it will look something like something. Okay, then in here, command big, and then in here it will be something like description and then message, which is a string, and this is also a string. So the issue that happens is that we need to put a description here, right? So the way our command will look like is something like message, which is the message we're going to be sending, and then which is the description of the message, so whatever the message does. So in this case is print Discord server. Okay, so this is how that was kind of the missing piece. The missing piece was that we didn't have the description of the command, and we had the message, but we didn't have the description, which is something that we need. So in this case, we are now able to, it's going to make it easier for us to build the commands dynamically. Okay. So we're going to go back here. This changes a bit. Okay, and now inside our commands we have description, which is value description. Cool. And then our action is just action. Okay, so now we have that. So here we are going to do the client that there's a send. So we might have to add a new command here for ourselves. Okay, I think we could close this one. Okay, so we're gonna have to create a new function. Let's find our send function. We are gonna create a new one that just sends a message, a private message. And just like this string. Let's take the message, string, and it returns an error. Anything happens. And here we don't have to check. Oh, it doesn't return anything. It returns. Okay, so here we are going to do print, and oh wait, we didn't need to do that. No, it does return an error. So we're gonna do some error checking. No, it doesn't return anything. Because we could just do something like send send, and we could do private message and then just do the message. Yeah, I think we should just handle the error here. So we're just reusing the function under us. So we don't leak any of the implementations with the same command. We're just going to reuse it. And then in here, we could just use send message, and the value that message is what we want to send back. So that's kind of how almost our functions are going to look like, right? So we are going to, so right now we are able to dynamically create this configuration. So, okay, so we have that there. And we could test this out with our fake server. So I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I'll be right back. Cool. Okay, sorry. Okay, we finished creating dynamic commands. The issue now is that our print one doesn't really return anything. It's just not printing out. So we are gonna go to our print command, and we're gonna add a description to it. Oops. We are gonna add a description to it. So here we are gonna say, right. Okay, so we're gonna print all our chatbot commands. And the way to do that, we are gonna just do a for loop, which we have the key, and then we have the value, which is command here. So we're gonna range to commands. Okay, so now we have our command. So we are going to create a message. So the message itself, we're going to use sprintf here, and it's going to look something like exclamation point, then s. So we look how we're building it. Server commands. Okay, so we print a message saying, hey there. So we could do the same. Okay. We are doing key is the command itself, and then we have the description. But one cool thing is we could also just build more on top of it. So we could do something like this. We're kind of cheating because we are adding this It's here, but we could do something like just gonna create a message. Okay, and we're gonna pass a hey message to it. And then here we could just do client.send message. Okay, so as you can see, like we don't need to do like all of the different things. Like the command itself looks like it's cleaner here versus what we had here. Mostly because we're not exposing the how to write messages directly to the chat client. We are just wrapping it in the same message function. So that does a lot of the heavy lifting for us. And here we are gonna take this error and we're gonna do it. Thank you, SSB. Thank you for the hard rate. Cool. And we're gonna check if it's empty. And we're gonna return. We're gonna return. Wait, why is our chat overlay not working? Wonder if we ended up breaking some of it. Oh, it is working. It is working. Okay, so we're gonna do log dot print, and we're just gonna a message. Cool. I'm just gonna take this check here. And do the same. But in this case, it's a key. The command is also be dynamic. We have to send back, you know, add the key to it, so we know which commands are failing. It will be very helpful to know certain ones failing. Okay, so I think this is a good start. So we should start writing some tests for this. Oh well, yeah, let's write some tests because we have some commands, but you have no way to parse them, and we have no way to get commands out of our client itself. So the way that the test themselves will look like. So our help command, we're gonna be testing it, see if it works correctly. Okay, so we're gonna test if these commands work correctly. Okay, yeah. So the way it's gonna work is we have to go back to some of our the past tests we wrote before. So I went back to one. Yeah, so I want to go back to some of the tests we wrote before because some of them are using helpful functions that we could use. So let's see. How the server stream start. Okay, so yeah, we need to start using our Echo server. The Echo server is the one that we use for managing responses. The only issue with this package is that it's not available to be imported. So I'm going to create util, and I'm going to move helper s2. So this is where our Mac HTTP server is. So the goal is to be able to reuse this. Okay, so let's see what we have here. We have to make some of these ones publicly available. So we're gonna make this one publicly available, and it's public. That's the wrong one. We want it. I don't think we need shutdown. Need server response, but we have a function that does already. Yeah, so we just need to make this function public. So the goal is to reuse this server to test our commands. Yeah, and then there's a shutdown. Oh, this is a test for it. Okay, so we can just move that one out and make its own test. So I want to use this name for that function. I don't. So we're gonna put that one here. Okay, and then we'll go back here. We're gonna just give this a different server. Let's change its name to something else. Yep. Okay, and we will move this function to okay. Address might need to see. Okay, so I'll go pass. Cool, that works. Okay, so we're gonna go back here and see what is failing. So this shouldn't work because I changed the name of some stuff. Okay, so yeah, I changed the name of this here, so it has a different name. The struct here is also different. Ooh. Here's the thing. It'd be cool if we could just reuse this function too, because it returns a chat client already built for the user to use. It's gonna be a bit painful because we're gonna have to make this into a private package. So that means anything that was using, that's it. I think is something like that. I like the other one better. So what I'm doing now is, so if you have a test and you declare it with a different package name, that means you can it stops you from accessing private methods. And you have to start doing things like, I see that package. So you have to use the package name to be able to access the values in the functions and the and structures inside of it. I needed to refactor this before anyway, so I'm just gonna refactor it now. So I'm gonna take this here and I'm gonna put it in our Mac server because he also returns the Mac client. Let's create a new file. Let's just create a new file. Mac client. So the Mac client has all the information that we already need. So it builds everything that we need. So we don't have to worry about like the different things that we need from. Okay. So this has a new name. It's Mac server. Except E. And it returns AR. So we want to avoid the circle of dependency, and that's kind of why we gave our test a different name. Okay. Cool. And save. Oh, I see. It's two. Okay. So stop. Back. So we're doing cleanup here, so we don't need to return the echo server back. I will return it. Okay, and here we can now do here. Server. Okay, so now we have a Mac client server package. Sorry, function that lets us just use util that create client. Save. Okay, and we just pass T to it. You might not want to import. Oh, you did import. Oh, it only returns once. Oh, I see what I'm returning to. So the issue that happens is that there is no easy way for me to which return to. I need to return back the echo server. Sorry, our Mac server too, because we're changing the structure. And since we're changing the structure for it, we need to be able to send it back. And the structure that we're changing is just the response. You want to be able to control the response of the server. And now this. So let's just find the other places I can play. Yeah, so pretty much any place that's using it, we will start using it. anything that's said in the response needs to be changed to use capital S. There's a lot of places that I'm using it, so we're gonna go through them and change them. Okay. Okay, so our tests are passing again, and now we have a utility that we could use for testing our Mac server. So let's go back to one of the tests here, and I think we have a simple, yeah. So we are going to use this here, import it. Cool. So we now have a Mac server that we have a client, and we have a server that we could use to change the responses when we need to. So how we should response. So we're going to start it. So we could start baking our messages. Is there one with tags? There is. Okay. This might be the better one. This one here. Okay. Cool. So I'll just change this response. So we're gonna use this one to change this message here to change. It's gonna be our Mac data. So we could use it to change the different commands that this user is gonna be sending. In this case, the user is Copter, so he's gonna be the one. Okay, so we could make him say help command. So the help command was something like commands. Right, so that's kind of what we expect here. So what we're expecting is that when the server responds back with a command, we are going to start client. So we're starting the client. Then we're going to get a message back. Just in this case, I'm going to just call message. No. We don't need a message back. We don't need the message back. We are gonna. We jumped a bit too much here. So we just need to initialize our command. So the client will be started already, so we don't need to start it. In this case, we do, because okay. So I'm just gonna do client, not client, sorry, and then we're gonna do new, and we're gonna pass client. And for now, we are just going to pass a empty to it. And then we're going to do commands that are server. Okay, so that is this function here. start or maybe handle. It's this one here. Handle. Okay, so we have the handle command, which handles all the commands, which starts listening for events. Okay. Now. Oh, it's a test I want to look at. Okay, so there's a test here that I want to look at because it has want. So if I write to it, how do I get it back? Oh, I reformat. I have access to that. So here's what I want to do. So I want to receive a message from the server, from the Mac server, which is going to have the command. Then, depending on the command itself, I want the command parser to send back a message to the server. But then I wanted to intersect that message that I will send to the server and read it. So we could make sure that we send the right information back. So what is happening now is I don't think I have a way back to get the new line. So I don't think I have a way to access. So I have the server, so let's see. This connection coming from. So, sorry. Okay, so somehow I have to get myself access to the listener. So in this case, the listener is the one that, wait, oh, this says doesn't do what I think it does. Oh, it does. So this is a client which is connecting to it. So I'm connecting to, so I need to access to address. I wonder if it will break our parser. It might break our parser. We could figure out how to handle it. Okay, so we are gonna. I should be able to parse it. So we could. Oh, yeah, we should be able to parse it. I don't think we need to do any of this. Let's just try it out, see how it goes. So I'm gonna change this back. Tab back, change it. Okay, cool. So change that back. And here, you want to stop listening to. So you need to turn it off. So we are gonna just create a new channel. It's just an empty struct. Okay, so the handler is just gonna be a for loop, which does two things. So we're gonna select, and inside of our select, yeah. Okay. We select, and we're gonna do case. The first case will be to listen for messages. So we're gonna do and client dot message. So here we are gonna get ourselves and it's already doing it. So we are gonna get a message. Okay, so we have the message now, and then we're gonna send that to our parse message. The parse message is the one that's going to handle formatting the message the way that we want it. Okay, so I need to go back to, I need to figure out like an example of using select, but with a shutdown too. Okay, it returns. So here, if we get a shutdown, we're just gonna return. So this is how we're gonna turn it. Stop listening to events. So have a shutdown, and are gonna create a new function. A new function here, which is just gonna be available, and we're just gonna call it close. And the job of that function is to just shut down our server. Okay, so we are shutting down our server. This here is how you define a empty struct. So what I'm saying here is that I'm passing an empty struct. Second. Yeah, I'm passing an empty struct to our shutdown server. Empty structs don't take memory. So I'm just passing an empty struct to it. Cool. So we want this to go run inside of a Go routine. We don't want to block when this function. Okay, that means now we are running, and we need to change our test a bit. So we're gonna here. Okay, so we are test command. We need to do something. We started it, so we have to shut it down. So we're gonna defer. We're just gonna close it. And what that means is that we're not handling messages anymore. So if when a message comes to our client, it's just not gonna send it back. Okay. So we could just try running this test and see what happens. Print the message here. Again, we are using a Mac server, so we're not pinging the API directly. Okay, so because we're using some of the information from the other test, we need to copy over some of the files. So yeah, because we're using a Mac server, it depends on these files. So you have to answer with the requests. So we need badges, other tests, sir. Okay, so we could see that is, so there's a channel that might be blocking. So we need to figure out what is blocking. But we could see that the test itself is storing all the information about the user, in this case, Copter. We are also getting the message that they're sending, so we can use it to make the request. But there is something that is blocking, and I have to figure out what that is. I wonder if it's right here. Because the handle is being called, maybe just turn it is the one. It could also be that we're not closing it and there's a Go routine running, so let's see. Let's see here. Oh, it could be the cleanup function. That'll do it. I have this here, so I wonder if that is the one. If you can clean up the server. So this function here is getting called. The test is getting here to the end. Oh. Is the one blocking? Maybe we're not close to shut. Oh, you know what? It's because I'm trying to send a message to a channel that doesn't exist. The channel was never initialized, so that's kind of what is happening. And Go is like, it's like complaining because I'm writing to a channel that is not, but I'm not doing anything there. There we go. Yeah. So for context, you have to initialize your Go channels like this. If you try to write to them, they will block or they will turn error. But because I was not doing it, I was just ignoring the error. It just kept going. That's what happened there. And now my this function is being called now. Cool. What is? Okay, I think that helped. But we're not printing the message now. So maybe we should block until we get a message. Wait, what if I just do it again? Just now. Still returning. That is not. So, what page? Now, the information that I need is not being returned. So, let's just go. Let's see. Okay, that's what we want. Here and create a shutdown. You know, initialize shutdown. So we could just use it to tell our server to stop, our command handler to stop listening for events. Okay. So the reason we're not seeing a message is because this is closing and we're not waiting for it to finish doing what it needs to. All right. What we need to do now is we need to be able to. So here, so we started it. So I want to check what is inside of our. I want to check this and see what is in here. There's a syntax error. Okay, so we're just gonna show. Oh, it's a channel, so we're not listening for it. So that's the issue. We want whatever's inside of this channel, we want it out of it. Okay, so where the first command that we're getting is the one about copter. We're not writing anything back to it. But is it blocking? Yep, it's. So I want to check if this is supported, because I want to be able to handle multiple channels. It's possible. So we have one. I want to use one channel. No, it should work. Okay. So what I was checking is to see if there's a way for us to send multiple responses. So I think okay, so make this wait. Yeah, I'm gonna just nice. I need to just make the close one to lock forever. For now, this wouldn't work, so okay, so we get the response that we want. So that means that this is working. So now what we need to do is start parsing the message. So message. So we're gonna use contains. So we could do something like 0. So if the first key equals, so if the first key is not equal to exclamation mark, we are just gonna return. Right, there is nothing here. This is not a command. So we don't do any extra work. Okay, so if it's a command, we have here. Oh wait, we don't need any of this for the beginning. Yeah, for a simple test, we don't need any of this. We just could manually create it ourselves, right? The best way to do it. I'm just gonna write so I could just mark I could just write the message that we're getting. So this message that we're getting here, I'm just gonna write it to a file. Okay, so the file name is gonna be test data. Data slash okay, and yeah, we're gonna pass. We're gonna use this. We're gonna turn it into JSON. So we are gonna do. We're not gonna keep this code here. This is for us just to capture it. We're gonna use Marshall, and we're gonna take message. And this returns bytes. Just gonna note error for now. Pass it here, and have to give it the one back. Isn't it? The Twitch API one that's using it. So we're gonna just create like a golden file. So this is that file. Yeah. So the and okay. we are gonna run our test. We're gonna create that file. Okay, so this is how the command itself is going to look like. So we just read this file, marshal it to a structure, or marshal it to a structure, and we can just pass it to our test. So we're going to do something like this. Will make it simpler for us to be able to test this without having to need the test server. Right now, we could just get rid of it. I'm just gonna comment everything out. Okay, so I'm commenting that out. Here I'm gonna do IO util. So file, and we pass it. Okay, so first, then we're gonna just marshal it. So we are gonna create a new struct. So it's gonna be message, which is gonna be our so it's gonna be a pointer to this struct, and then error. Okay, so and speed to it. Error. Then we are failing the test too. Say okay, so now we have struct, so we can do. We're gonna print it out to see what is there. Test. Okay, so that's kind of the same response that we were expecting. So now we could just do we take this here, right here, so commands, just need a client. Put it back. Okay, so we're gonna give it a client. And we're just gonna ignore this one. Just gonna ignore this Mac server for now, so we don't need it for now. Ignore it. Let me do a command. That parse message, and we just pass our message to it, and that should just be able to test everything else like this for now. If error. Hey, how's it going? Sorry. So today I'm doing a short stream, so I'm gonna stream for more like 10 more minutes, and then I'm gonna hop off. If So today I'm working on, so we have a chat server. Sorry, not a chat server. We have a chat bot that we have been using. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a way to support more commands on it and making it easier to handle sending commands from the Twitch chat. Failed. So I'm just writing tests for this function that we have. Okay, come back here. You mean this one? I see. Okay, so here we want to return an error, and we want to just check. Okay, so we want this is our command. So it's not safe yet. So I'm trying to get it to work first, and then I will make it safe. So you're saying like, if there's no message, it will fail. I could also just do message greater than 1. Oh, wait, greater than 0. Because of the so I could do it either way. But for now, I just want to get it to work. And then I'm gonna go back and make things more safer. Okay, so we have the message itself. We could just look at it, and here we're going to start 1 and take everything there. So this one will give us the command itself. So we just need to make sure that that works. Yeah, so I want to make it safe. I will make it safe by just writing more tasks that try to break it. Wait. Save. Go back. Okay. Yeah, that also could be something I use. Okay, so we have the command, and then we could do if. So we could do. Not okay. We're going to return an error. So we don't want to send that error to the user. We're just going to return an error. Return an error saying failed to. Or so right now I'm just want to handle the simple cases. So if there is any commands that have like white spaces, I'll figure out how to handle it. In this case, yes. So pretty much when you're using Twitch chat, pretty much anything that has starts with a exclamation point. It's a command. For example, this one's. So it's kind of so that's kind of like the idea behind some of the commands, right? It's like Twitch itself has a syntax that people use. Oh no, so it depends on the caller. If the caller wants to throw an error, they can. In my case, I won't throw an error. I'm just gonna print it out. I just don't want to print it out here. I don't. Okay, I want. Cool. So now we have the command and we have the function. So that action is the function that we want to call. Maybe we could also make it return an error. So yeah, so here's the one. This function here decides what to do with the error message. So this one returns an error. And in here, that client. It's going to write to the client. Take. So I think I'm gonna have to end up moving some of these things over. And then we're gonna pass the message. Because we don't have to do any of the stuff ourselves. Close this for now. Let's see this. I broke my book. Okay. But I'm not sure what you mean. Oh. Yeah, so this is not being used yet. This is how I thought I was gonna do it, but I haven't done anything on it. So like nothing is really using it. And also, I'm not sure if I want the caller to have to figure out that they should put this inside of a Go routine. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I haven't done much around how we'll handle these things. For now, I just want to make sure that I'm able to parse the message and then call the command, call the function that is attached to that. Okay, so I'm gonna redo this because it must be weird. Okay. So that was an invalid command, and then here we do about that action and do that client send message. Change our action here to return an error. Yeah, I was thinking of changing that too. So for now, like again, I just want to get it to work, and then I'm gonna do refactoring. This returns an error. I have an error, so let's return that. Okay, so I have 1 more minute left, so I'm just gonna run this and see if it works. Nope, because we not update this one. Okay, so let's see if that worked. Failed to parse commands. Okay, so at least it's going here. So for some reason it's not able to find it. So check this, but I'm out of time. So I will be. Let's see if there's anyone for us to array. And if not, give me a second. Just something. Oh, he's not online anymore. So I'm just gonna end up this stream here. I have to tap streaming now for the next like 2 hours, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do some coding. I was thinking of rating him, but sure. Oh, he is. Yeah, that's true. No, I think I'm gonna end it here and not rate anyone today. But I'll be around later on, around like 8 or 9. We're gonna be playing some games. So, bye. Thank you for hanging out.